Namaskar, dear seekers, and welcome to our live stream today. So today it's about questions and answer. Any questions that you have about spirituality or spiritual practice, and the session will be for 1 hour. So before we start, I would like just to share in brief. My name is Syriac. I'm originally come from France. I've been in India for more 20 years ago, and I'm practicing spirituality for more than 25 years. I live in India also for over 10 years in an ashram, and presently the past year we were traveling across Europe about spreading spirituality, and at the moment we are also establishing an ashram in Germany. And on behalf, it is SSRF. SSRF is an acronym of the Spiritual Science Research Foundation. And SSRF has two main objectives. One objective is to explain about the spiritual dimension and how it can affect us positively or negatively. And the second main objective is how to guide a seeker in their spiritual journey all the way to God-realisation. And for that, we have a website with more than 900 articles pertaining to many topics about spirituality or spiritual practice. And also we have platforms, online platform, where we give that opportunity for seekers to come and learn about practical steps of how to implement and to grow spiritually. That was in brief. So before we start our live stream, usually what we do for around 2 minutes has to just achieve some calm mind. Either you can meditate, you can either focus on your own breath. We'll do that for 2 minutes. From outside, during that time, we play an audio, a recording of a divine name. So you can either listen, focus on your breath, or meditate. And then we will, after that, start with our live stream today. So dear seeker, you can sit now comfortably. You can close your eyes. And in a few seconds, when we start the audio, that will be the time for meditating. And for 2 minutes, we'll do that.
Om Om Shri Gurudeva Datta Om 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 Om
Dear seekers, if some of you are just joining us, so welcome today to our live stream of questions and answers. That means for 1 hour you can ask any questions about spirituality or spiritual practice, anything that you maybe have seen about on internet about spirituality on our website, and something is not clear to you, so don't hesitate to ask questions. If you can ask, of course, practical questions of how you want to go ahead in your spiritual journey or spiritual practice, that is always better. But of course, theoretical question also we can take. So the session will be for around 1 hour. I will try to cover all your questions. You can start writing your question on the chat. I've seen that we have already few questions. We have 2 seekers who will be moderating your questions, so on YouTube and Facebook, and will answer all your questions. So don't hesitate to ask questions. The first questions that we have today is from Dorian Callow. You said, what happened if my father it has a higher spiritual level than me and I remain at that level? Will we end up in the same place after my death? So Dorian, just to explain, in the afterlife, depending on our spiritual level or our spiritual capacity, and everybody goes to different plane of existence, and for that we have an article we explain where we go after death. So there is what we call it, there is heaven, high heaven, and after there is another place called Mahalok. It is a higher subtle. There are 7 planes of existence, positive, and 7 planes were negative. So actually, when a person dies, whether they are from the same family or same country, they will go to the different plane of existence as per their spiritual level or spiritual purity, we can say. So just to understand, the most important is to see, instead of thinking what will happen when I die, it's more important to see what I can do now of spiritual practices, where I'm standing, and what I can do to change myself. So that is the most important, because God look at us in the present tense instead of looking our past. Some feel that, oh, I'm doing spiritual practice, I'm good enough, and some feel, oh, I'm not good enough. But both are of no importance. More important is, what am I doing today to change myself and to grow spiritually? There is another question from Full Moon. You said, how to stop thinking of finding the Prince Charming. So you can see, Full Moon, this is in a way not so much questions about spirituality, but more where see there is a process how to overcome unnecessary worry, unnecessary thinking. So for that there is this process that His Holiness Dr. Jayant Attavali, the source of inspiration of SSRF, who made how to overcome defect within oneself. So we can say that anger, emotionalism, worry take us a lot of time and energy. So unnecessary also, you start thinking about finding a partner. But to understand also that being in a relationship, being married or being single will depend of destiny. And this is something that we have as per our destiny, we will experience either happiness or unhappiness, and whether a person will get married or will have children, that also depend of destiny. But mainly we have to accept which destiny, and we don't know what will unfold to us tomorrow. So more important is, by practicing spirituality, we are able to reduce the negative effect of destiny on us, and to how to overcome unnecessary thinking. This is to work, as I shared already, by addressing the worry, the aspect of worry, and that you can, it is a specific and simple technique, what we call autosuggestions. It is repeating a tailor-made sentence in our mind to overcome, because most of the time what happens, our mind start getting active and remaining in a loop in the same thought. So that's why chanting is one technique that helps to divert the mind, So our mind is busy repeating a divine name, or there is also repeating these positive thoughts. So it will be like whenever I start thinking unnecessary about finding the charming prince, I will realize that things happen as per destiny. So I will stop and focus on chanting. So I hope it's okay, full moon. If you can have other questions, but try to be more practical questions. Huh? More is how should I progress instead of asking how to find a prince charming, how I can grow spiritually. There's another question from Adimola. You said after finding out about World War III on SSRF site, I have to admit I become quite depressed and I have started drinking. I'm scared about what is going to happen to my family and I don't know what to do. SSRF say if we cultivate, God will protect us. But most of my family is not spiritual at all and I'm afraid for them. I'm afraid I'm going to lose all my family or that I will die. I don't know what to do about these feelings or what to do to help my family, because no matter how much I recommend spiritual practice, they won't do it. So that is the first time usually we have people coming to SSRF and they say, I stopped smoking, I stopped drinking, but here is opposite, you start drinking. Because we have article about, you can go through our article on our website, we have a video that explains about the harmful effect of drinking. So usually it is the other way around. People tell us, oh, I've stopped drinking. So you can see ultimately what is going, we are sharing about this upcoming difficult time, and we can see around us also today what is happening and the different breaking news also that is happening today. We can see presently also some new conflict in Israel. So just to see that things are happening around us, and we can't say how things will go, but definitely we are going towards more difficult time. And you are worried, so see, chanting God's name as per your religion of birth you can do helps to make the mind more calm. And see, you said whatever you say they don't listen, but actually what you can do, if you try to change yourself, if you try to increase the positivity within you, so practice spirituality, stop drinking, work on your personality defect, work on chanting God's name, then positivity in you will increase and then can affect the surrounding and the people who live around us. We have seen many seekers whom family started changing or practicing spirituality when the first one, the one who actually started to grow spiritually. So that is actually something that it is in our hand. If we should not have expectations that others should do spiritual practice, but if I do spiritual practice and grow spiritually, it can have a positive impact on others. But the aim should not be that I do spiritual practice so others are protected. I do spiritual because I want to experience God, I want to grow spiritually. There is another question from Susan Stern. You say, how can I let go of my ego so that I have just enough to not get myself killed? Today is a lot of interesting questions on our live stream. Actually, here, Susan, more important is we should work on, when we recommend, we should chant God's name or work on overcoming different defects within us. It can be anger, emotionalism, worry, so that we remain stable or we remain positive. So here there is no connection to say when I'll work on reducing my ego, because here reducing ego is not the feeling like others abuse us or take advantage of us. Here, reducing the ego is to experience that God is a doer of all actions. Instead of feeling I know, is to understand that maybe others may have other opinions, or so we can work on that ego from the viewpoint of experiencing God. And actually, when our ego become less, or our worry become less, or insecurity become less, we respond to other situation in a better way. So instead of feeling, now I have less ego, I will be a victim. Actually, it is not like that. Whatever we say, other will listen, because there is positivity in the person when egos become less. So not to think that if I reduce ego, other take advantage of me. There's another question from S.S. He say, I did a food offering for Ancestor in the departed Ancestor fortnight. Only pigeons came to take the offering. How do we know if the offering reached our ancestors? See, about we are offering the food, and I don't know if you have read some seekers. We have shared experience on our website. Why we say about crow? Because crow is it matches the vibrations, the closest vibration to the subtle body of ancestors, so they can come, they can actually come through the crow. But more important is whether sometimes they come and eat the food, or there is no crow, or there is other birds, or sometimes there is no bird also. I invite you to read an experience of one seeker from Austria, who actually at that time didn't have anything, didn't have even the ingredient. Then she went to a park, but she prayed with devotion, with spiritual emotion. And then she was offering even leftovers for meal and rock, and then she just experienced something lifting from her. So actually at that we have to understand that spirituality is a subtle dimension, and this concept now of departed ancestors, there are also subtle bodies. So of course the sign, one of the gross sign is to see a crow coming and eating or picking the food. But it's not like because they don't pick the food or so that actually it did not work. More important is when we repeat the divine name of Shri Gurudev Datta, or we do that offering of food. At that time we should do it wholeheartedly with maximum surrender to God, and this is what counts in spirituality. There is another question from Sorab Bodas. How does chanting of Shri Gurudev Datta help our departed ancestors? Does chanting Shri Ram Jai Ram help our ancestor to get rid of from negative energy? So see, Sorab, about your question now, is another name helps to overcome problem caused by departed ancestors. So the name of Sri Gurudev Datta is Dattatreya, is specific to helps to overcome departed ancestors. And I would like to share my own experience, because here we are mentioned another name is Sri Ram Jai Ram. But actually for me what happened when I was introduced to SSRF is 1999. At that time I was introduced to my religion of birth. So I used to chant this name of El Mary, and it would just help to make my mind calm. At that time, actually, at the same time, I used to smoke cigarette. I used to experience something different. I could not understand some negative presence or smoking cigarettes. And they told me that actually I have problem caused by departed ancestors, and I could not understand, because as a person coming from France, this concept is unknown. But when I started to repeat the name of Sri Gurudev Datta, then I could experience immediate changes. When I repeated another divine name, at that time I just could experience less thoughts in the mind, more calmness. But when I started to repeat the divine name, of Sri Gurudev Datta, immediately within 3 days I stopped smoking. And we have like that seekers across different religion and different background who just repeated, they used to repeat their family deity from India, some used to repeat their name as per their religions, but when they repeated the name of Sri Gurudev Datta, there were an immediate difference. And just to understand that, because the name is specific for overcoming problem by departed ancestors. So when we repeat this divine name, that energies also create a protective shield around us. So at that time, it protects us. If that says the departed ancestor is trying to fulfill desire through us, or if they are benevolent, then it gives them some spiritual energy and they're able to move and continue their journey in the afterlife. So I don't know if that answer your questions, Surah, because not only what was very interesting, now I've come across myself as a Catholic. We had also on our website some who was Orthodox. I met myself also some Muslims who, when they're repeating the name of Sri Gurudev Datta, or Hindus also, were experiencing changes, even though they were repeating different names as per their own religion. There is another question from Tondo Villakazi. You said, I have a problem that every time I'm around people, they get allergic reactions. They cough or sneeze, and I don't use any perfume. Please help me. So see, Tondo, we can't say whether because of you feel your presence is giving a allergic reaction to a person. So whether if it is so, then to just understand that this can be caused due to negative energy vibrations or negative energy causing something. So but for you, what is more important? You can focus on doing self-healing remedy. One is chanting God's name, or doing self-remedying like salt water remedy, Nyas, box remedy. We can publish, we can now paste also those links in the chat so that you can see which name to chant about the salt water remedy, Nyas and box remedy. So if it is, what I'm saying, if the cause is spiritual in nature and it is coming from you, let's say you have this let's say negative vibration, we can cause that. What I'm saying, it can be also psychological, because there is nothing to do. It is maybe your own perceptions that you feel because you are around others, they react in one way or another. So that you can see if it is a psychological reason. So that's why it's better. You can always consult a psychologist and just speak with them, explain your problem. And then they will see whether is it psychological problem or it is not. If it is not physical or psychological, then the chance can be spiritual in nature. And for the spiritual solution, I've shared already, self-healing remedy is important. I don't know if Tondo that answer your questions. If you have further questions about that, you can ask also. There's another question from Josephine Rindang. I work at the orphanage. I can't avoid the feeling of being emotional, like being homesick. As I was really sure it wasn't me, so I went away to be convinced, start to look at something with no thoughts. It is bothering me every day. And you said, at the orphanage, I hit children to make them listen to what I say, to make them disciplined, and do the schedule like sleep at bedtime. Can sadhana overcome 100% of my sin because I torture them every day? I'm reading again your first questions. See, Josephine, here it is important for the act that you are doing, no? Because eating small children, definitely it's an incorrect act, and that can be punishable by the law also. So I think it is, you can see that's something you should consult a psychologist to get help in this matter of doing such an act and to refrain from doing so. And of course, if you practice spirituality and try to work on yourself, God can overcome all our sins, but we should stop also, no? I will do spiritual practice, but I will continue eating children. That can't work. So you should here see why this is happening and see a psychologist to help you to overcome this incorrect action. But you can start chanting God's name as per your religion. That will help you to be able to face and work to overcome that. There is another question from Gypsy Waite. You say you have a question about the fortnight for the departed ancestors, and you say in the ritual for food offering, can you explain what to do with the food? What do we do with a glass of water to be offered? And the second question is, in the ritual of water offering, what should be done with ring and water in the silver plate? See, when we do the rituals, we can offer food. Now we need to offer some simple food along with a glass of water. So it can be kept, sometimes we say it's be kept outside. So depending where you are, if you have a land, then we can place it in some place where bird can easily come. Or if you live in an apartment, you can put it on the balcony. So we put the plate as well as we put the glass separately, like how we offer a meal, not to a person. So about the offering of water, we have explained, no, simple steps of how we can do that rituals. So I think it is explained. We can maybe paste in the chat. There is a small video, self-explanatory, that explain all those steps about that simple offering. There is another question from Sandeep Korane. You say, I have a mental illness of schizophrenia. To what extent can it affect my spiritual journey and how to overcome it? See, Sandeep, when it comes to mental illnesses, especially like schizophrenia, we recommend to really be followed by a psychologist or psychiatrist, because this is a mental illness, no? For spirituality, it is how to grow spiritually. So if we have a physical problem, we go and see a medical doctor. If we have mental illnesses, we go and see a psychiatrist. But it is possible, because as in spirituality there are three factors. The problem can be only physical, 100% physical. Some can be 100% psychological, and some can be 100% spiritual, and sometimes there is a combination. There's a combination of the root cause of the problem can be spiritual in nature, but there are problems also at the psychological and physical level. So that's why it is possible, but we have to address always every problem at every level. So for that it is important, but it can affect, of course, spiritual practices, because if we don't want to go and meet a psychologist now and take probably medicine, because schizophrenia is a mental illnesses that can lead to unreasonable actions, or as well the person is not able to have correct perceptions of what happened. So quite often the person has to take medications, and if this is medication, it will be in control, and person practicing spirituality can help them Because again, if the person is facing mental illnesses or physical illnesses, it can be caused by destiny. And some of cases of mental illnesses can be caused also by negative energy problem. So that's why we recommend as well self-healing. But it is very important that the problem is tackled at the psychological problem, at the psychological level. I don't know if it is clear, Sandeep. You say how to overcome it is to meet a psychologist, take treatment, and follow the therapy. And you can do self-healing remedy. One is chanting, repeating God's name, and the other self-healing technique that we have on our website, or we have pasted in the chat recently about saltwater remedy, Nyas, as well as box therapy. We have also another technique that it helps to remove the negative covering around oneself. There is another question from Mark Prickel. Is it possible to progress spiritually if only the husband is doing spiritual practice and the wife doesn't? There is a lot of friction between us. Can progress happen by working on ego removal and removing defect of personality? See, Mark, there are many couples. It is rare to find couple, husband, wife, who both practice spirituality. Quite often is sometimes either only the husband practice spirituality or sometimes only the wife practice spirituality. That it is very common in today's time, and of course it can create friction, or there is of course due to destiny sometimes friction between husband and wife. But that doesn't stop. If both are practicing spirituality, it is easier, but it is not also an obstacle or an end if someone practice alone. Because just to remember, if someone have intense desire to practice spirituality, then there is no obstacles. And if we work on ourselves, or as you say, overcoming defect within oneself, ego within oneself, and quite often what can happen, the communications or the between husband and wife improve. And this is what, it's not always, but we have seen often seekers, when they start spiritual practice, what they have experienced that suddenly after some time their interaction with people of their work start to become better, or the relationship between the husband, wife, or spouse or children also improve. Because naturally, if we change ourselves, our reactions to the situation or the person become different. We should not expect that others should change, but by changing ourselves, we actually help also, or give a chance for the other also to change. We go back to Adimola. He said, I have been chanting Shri Gurudev Datta for months now, and I have noticed no reduction in my drinking or worry caused by World War III. Am I doing something wrong? See, you can see why actually when a person say, now I started drinking because of that. Well, it's like easy to say, no? So you can see whether there were some, before you were other pattern of drinking in some other situation also. So ultimately, if there is this problem, no, caused by, it can be by a person having departed ancestor, destiny. So after we say, oh, because of this situation, I start drinking, or because of this situation, I start drinking, this happened to me. But we can see, no, actually, you can see to only few months, no, you are started to repeat the name of Shri Gurudev Datta. And I think for the problem caused by drinking, as I shared, I think there is other chant to do. We should also meet some doctors, no, in the field, because it is, we talk about addictions. So at that time, usually we recommend also to meet a doctor in that field of how to overcome addiction. We never say that you just do spiritual practice and repeat a divine name. We also said to meet a doctor in that field. So you can go and meet a doctor in that field that helps with drinking problem. There is another question from Efin Aluni. I haven't done the ritual of offering, and I'm afraid someone will tell me to not put food in the balcony of my boarding house where I live. The same thing, Efin, that I shared, if you have limitation and restrictions of the place where you are, people surrounding you, or you don't, it will maybe difficult. That's why the repeating the divine name with more spiritual emotions. As I shared now, that lady who went to a park in the city and she just offered whatever she had, but because she prayed from her bottom of the heart with devotion or spiritual emotion, then that has reached God and that is the most important. So not to worry about that offering. More important is to repeat the divine name of Sri Gurudev Datta with more spiritual emotion, more wholeheartedly, and that also you can go somewhere and do it mentally. It is shared also in our article that if you can't do that ritual physically, it can be done mentally also. There's another question from Andrea Dalmas. You are asking, I would like to know what spiritual level I am. How can I assess the level I am at? We have an article on our website, is what about spirit, what is my spiritual level, and we explain some basic point where we could stand in our spiritual journey. See, if let's say I am just interested in worldly activity or worldly gain, and I'm not thinking at all about God, so this is where I am. But if I'm thinking for a few hours per day about God, but I'm not doing any action and I watch TV, this is where I am. If I'm ready to sacrifice some of my free time and work on myself, chant God's name, reduce some incorrect habit, this is where I am. So like that we have explained now where we are. So it is more important is practicing spirituality. Then after what happened, we start getting spiritual experience. And those spiritual experience, as we keep practicing spirituality, we experience the closeness with God within oneself. And this is actually the real spiritual level, experiencing oneness or closeness with God. So I don't know if you have read, we can paste in the chat the article about what is the spiritual level. And you can go through, and if you have any question, that is Andrea Dalmas, you can always, because it takes time to read the article, you can always ask questions after on our live chat facility. There is from Mishika Singh. I love my dog a lot. I treat him like my son. He is very calm and sleep with us. I know it is not okay spiritually, but what should I do? So see, Mishika, to understand now that when it comes to animals or human being, more is attachment, and attachment bounds or bounds other person. So having a lot of attachment can affect us spiritually. And if it is an animal, then actually to understand, see, we are human beings and they're animals, so we can treat them, but not like I understand what you are trying to say, emotionally like a son, but that actually doesn't help us. No, we should understand that if we are human being, we can be caring to animals, but to understand that all what we do can affect us especially attachment. So when after that, what happened? Some person, when the person die or the animal goes away, and the person remain stuck in sorrow. There is another question from Pushpa Shetty. Where does the individual soul and super soul reside in the body? So just to say, there are no super soul. It's just one soul in each person with exactly the same, and that the soul is the God principle within one person. What is the difference? If when somebody is more spiritually advanced, that means that the negative covering around the soul is less, so the soul shine more. So it is not like it is super soul, it's just that the soul is more visible to the person inside or outside. So there is just one God principle, same in everyone. It is just covered by our ignorance of ego. And we have an article. We explain what are we comprised of. We can maybe paste the link in the chat. It explains about the different subtle body. We have the gross body, and we have the vital energy within us. Then we have the mind. The mind is not here. Mind is a subtle body around us. And we have the intellect, and we have the casual, super casual body. And then there is a soul. The soul is within a person. But it is subtle body. All of it is subtle only. It's like to see where is the sun in the sky. So actually, as per the sun keeps moving, no? The sky, as per the sunrise and sun goes throughout the day, it keeps moving. So same when there is cloud, we don't know where the sun is. We can't see it. So like that, because there is covering within us, we can't see where it is. We can't experience it. More important is to experience that the God is within us, and that is nature of the soul is bliss, blissful nature. There's another question. We go back to Tondo Vilakazi. I think my problem is spiritual because I went to see the medical doctor and psychologic, and they say there is nothing wrong. So Tondo, if you already met a medical doctor and who say, then you can use self-healing remedy, as I said, chanting God's name, salt water remedy, and that we will it will help you. You can ask question about, so we can see. Ultimately, we recommend of repeating 2 divine name to overcome problem if they are spiritual in nature. One is Shri Gurudev Datta, and the other one is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Unless you are, of course, attached to one of your religion of birth, you can chant then your religion of birth as well as the divine name of Shri Gurudev Datta. So the more we chant, the more we get the benefit along with a self-healing remedy. Another question from Sandeep. You said, whenever I chant with good spiritual emotion, I experience vomiting sensations. Then after, I cannot chant that well. So just to share, Sandeep, see when it can be again 2 aspects. If you can see, because is there any physical problem you are having, then to see any doctor to overrule any physical problem. But what can happen if a person, when they do some people sit for meditation or chanting, and what happens, they start experiencing splitting headache. So they didn't have headache before, or they experience splitting headache, or the person have splitting headache, and when they start chanting, it goes away. So similarly, when some person, sometimes spiritual emotion is awakened in a person, at that time, what can happen to a person? Some start having shaking sensations. Some start having like that vomitings or dizziness. So what can be is actually at that time, the negative energy affecting you is disturbed by the positivity of the spiritual emotion. Similarly, like the splitting headache, the negativity affecting the person is disturbed by the positivity generated by the chanting or the self-healing practice. And spiritual emotion is a higher level of healing, and actually it is one of the most effective. So that's why we have seen also different seekers, when they experience spiritual emotion, some they start feeling dizzy, some can have vomiting sensation. So just at that time, to just pray and continue chanting or whatever practice you do. And of course, you can focus on doing other self-healing remedy. We go back to Adimola. You say, how can I talk to a doctor and tell him I have fears of World War III because people with sixth sense predicted? I think he will think I'm crazy. So you can say Nostradamus says the same, Baba Vanga says the same, news. So it is not only SSRF, we have mentioned some of the predictions, but those predictions exist since centuries from different seers from across the world and different religion also. So it has been also mentioned in Christianity, it has been mentioned also in the Bible, it has been mentioned also by different seers well known in the world. So it is not something new, we can say. So you can confidently speak to the doctor. There's another question from Efin Aluni. When I was at my mom's sari class to present my work and I had discussions, I felt nervous and embarrassed that I was checking in front of the class. I don't know how to make an auto-suggestions for this. So Efin, you can see, I don't know if you can maybe speak to some of our seekers to first understand, see for you to understand what are the defects that affects you. So whether it is insecurity, whether it is fear, whether it is worry, that gives you some feeling of nervousness, and then you start checking. So if it is, let's say, insecurity, we have a very good autosuggestion. It's called A3 autosuggestion. It is an autosuggestion that is done in a present tense to prepare the mind to go through situations. This is something you can learn on our website, and especially on our online platform. So I don't know if you know, we have some online platform where you can come, where seekers come from across the world, and we talk about this. Seekers share their situations, and we help them individually how to tackle situations and give them, of course, because this auto-suggestion will have to be tailor-made, no, as per your situations or how your mind feels. That is the beauty, we can say, of auto-suggestions, that it is tailor-made to you. So dear seeker, I think we went through all the questions. So just to share, and we have from tomorrow we will resume the collective meditations, and it is from Monday to Saturday, every day from 6 to 7 p.m. Central European time. And on 22 October, that will be not this Sunday, but the Sunday after, we will have the 3 hours collective meditation. So it is 3 hours where mainly we do different sessions of meditations. We also show and practice together different self-healing techniques where we demonstrate and you practice it also. and there is also some questions, and we share some topic about spirituality. So everyone is welcome to our collective meditation and 3 hours meditations. Just to share, if also some of you you have further questions, you can please ask also on our live chat facility, or if you like to learn about spirituality and especially overcome personality defect. I think many of you shared you experience different obstacles. You can learn it in our satsangs that will help you to become more stable and of course become more happy in life. That is the aim, no? Aim is we want to experience always happiness instead of unhappiness. But as a seeker, we want to grow from happiness to bliss. So, dear seeker, we will end for today. Wishing you a blissful week and hope to see you then tomorrow when we resume the collective meditations. Namaskar to everyone.